Hello students, welcome to Geography class of 8th standard. Today we are going to start with a very interesting topic, lesson number 1, representation of geographical features, which is given on your page number 9 of your geography book. The objectives of the topic are introduction of topographical sheets, to discuss about the importance of globe and maps, to discuss about the history of map, to discuss about different types of map, to discuss about the numbering of topographical sheets, to discuss about open series map and their divisions, to discuss about the meaning of different colors used in topographical sheets. Before I begin, I would like to ask some questions you had done in the previous classes. Define map. What is the difference between globe and map? Give example of large scale map. Give example of small scale map. What is the book of collection of maps called? And at the last, name the map that shows both man-made and natural features. Now students, this is the time to discuss the important terms and new words of the chapter. Number 1 is topographical, relating to the arrangement or accurate representation of the physical feature of an area. Demonstrate, it means give a practical exhibition and explanation. Terrain means physical features. Next is planimetric, the features that are independent of elevation such as road building, footprints, rivers and lakes. Surveying instrument, an instrument used by surveyors. Interpretation, action of explaining the meaning of something. Cadastral maps. Cadastral maps are related to real estate or real property. Metric system, the decimal measuring system based on the meters, liters and gram as units of length, capacity and weight. Moraines, a mass of rocks and sediments carried down and deposited by a glacier. And at the last, geology, the science which deals with the physical structure and substance of the earth. Now students, let's start the topic with introduction. The main devices and techniques for studying geography are globes, maps, charts and models. Practical geography is concerned with the study of these devices and techniques that are involved in their constructions and use. The knowledge of the whole earth is essential as every part of it has its own characteristics. There is no other way to view the whole earth except through a globe or a map. A globe is an exact approximation of the earth. The map on the surface of the globe shows the correct size, shape, and location of the oceans and the continents. It also shows the correct position of places on the earth in relation to one another. We get a better idea of the parallels of latitudes and the meridians of longitude on the globe. It is said that the earliest globe was made by Crates in Greece in the year 150 BC. However, the globe is not only difficult to handle, but it is also impossible to show detailed information on its surface. Map is very important tool for the geographers and others. The word map has been derived from the Latin word mappo, meaning a napkin or a cover cloth. A map may be regarded as the skin of the earth, which was flattened to give a plain surface. A map may be defined as the representation of the earth as a whole or a part of it on a plain surface with conventional signs drawn to a scale. Although less accurate than a globe, a map has certain advantages which make it more useful than a globe. A map is useful in representing small areas as against the globe representing the entire earth. Students, here I am going to discuss a brief history of maps. Maps are not an invention of the modern age. They were in existence even in the ancient times. The earliest maps were highly pictorial, representing the ideas by rough sketch or picture without any scale or accuracy regarding the relative size or position. The earliest known map that is still preserved shows a portion of Iraq. This map is in the form of a small baked clay tablet. It was made about 2500 years BC. The credit for laying the foundation of modern techniques in cartography goes to the ancient Greek geographers like Aristotle and Ptolemy. The first topographical sheet on a scale of 1 inch ratio 1 mile was published by England in 1801. Mercator published a book of maps called Atlas. The Britishers established the Survey of India in 1767. Colonel Colin Mackenzie was the first surveyor general of India. The Survey of India has published topographical maps in a number of series. Rich and colorful symbols were used in place of black and white techniques of the earlier maps. The introduction of aeroplane or aerial photography in the beginning of the 20th century started a new phase in topographical surveying. So now let's discuss the different types of maps. Maps are useful in analysis and interpretation of various features on the surface of the earth. Different maps are used by different people according to their requirements. Maps can be classified in many ways, but two of them are most useful. One of them is the scale of the map and other relates to the function of the map. According to the scale, there are two types of maps. The large scale map, which shows a very large area with much details. The layout maps of the villages and the guide maps of the cities are the large scale maps. Second one is the small scale maps, which show a very large area with less details. The maps in the atlas or the wall maps used in the classrooms are mostly small scale maps. In other classification according to scale, there are three types of maps. Number one is cadastral map. The term cadastral has been derived from the French word cadastre, meaning a register of territorial property. Next type is atlas and wall maps. The atlas maps are small scale maps. They show a fairly large area at a glance and present a bird's eye view of a region, but they do not show the details given on the topo sheet. On the other hand, the wall maps show the main features of a small or a large area in a bold manner. These maps are generally drawn on large size papers so that a group of students in a classroom can use such maps. And at the last is topographical maps. These maps are large scale maps and are based on the actual survey of the land. It shows the general surface features in detail comprising both the natural landscape and the cultural landscape. These maps are large enough to show the relief, drainage, swamps and forest, villages and towns, means of transport and communication, land use, etc. in detail. In India, the Survey of India prepares the topographical maps, also called the topo sheets, for all parts of the country on a scale like 1:50,000. Now students, this is a time to start reading. I will explain the topic side by side with the reading. The topographical maps present all the important features of the earth. They demonstrate physical features, example rivers, mountains, lakes, etc. and cultural features, that is, buildings, road, railways, etc. Both of the features influences the life of man. Thus, the study of topo sheets provides a very convenient means of assessing the interrelationship that exists between man and his environment. The topographical maps aim at giving the best possible representation of the terrain within the limits of the scale and show both the natural and man made elements of the Earth's surface. These elements are identified and shown as far as possible in their correct position, that is, their location in terms of planimetric situations and elevation is defined distinctly. In the settled parts of the world, man has changed the appearance of the landscapes. He has built houses and roads, removed the natural vegetation to make way for cultivation, changed the natural drainage system to suit his own purposes by building dams, canals, ditches, etc. The systematic mapping of countries is directly connected with the development of mathematical calculations and measuring techniques through which one can mention the discovery of the triangulation compass and the construction of telescope and the development of surveying instruments. The measuring of the degree along the meridians was first carried out in France, which was continued in a more accurate way in the 18th century in many other countries. The Survey of India was established in 1767. It completed the entire land survey in phases. In fact, the topographical maps are the net presentation of cultural human activities over the physical natural landscape. Therefore, the interpretation or study of topographical maps can be made after observing the following details from the topo maps. So students, this is a part of introduction of topographical maps. Let's start with the page number 10, topographic and landscape. Topographical maps. Every country has published a series of these maps on different scales as they are vital for planning. Vital means important. In Britain, these are known as Ordinance Survey Map. The topographical maps of India are prepared by the Department of Survey of India under the Ministry of Science and Technology. The principal maps, those on a scale of 1 inch, half inch, and quarter inch respectively to a mile. In matrix system, they are presented on the scale of 1:250,000, 1:50,000, and 1:25,000. Contours, namely lines on the map used to join all the points having the same heights above sea level, are used for showing the relief of an area. They are large-scale maps, but their scale is smaller than that of the cadastral maps. Since their scale is large, they show considerable details of natural and man-made features such as hills, rivers, forests, towns, villages, roads, railways, canals, etc. These maps guide travelers and motorists. They help soldiers during war operations and geographers while studying regional geography of an area in detail. A topographical map shows the shape of the land surface as well as the location of streams, lakes, roads, cities, and features. The shapes of these ground features are shown by contour lines. While studying about landforms, we found that various landforms have distinct shapes. Contours outline hills and valleys as well as other subtle landforms such as sand dunes, moraines, streams, terrace, and so on. We can learn much about the geology of an area by knowing that certain features can be recognized by the contours which outline them. By noticing the relative spacing between the contour lines, one can tell whether the slopes are steep or gentle. A perfectly flat horizontal surface would have no contours since a contour is indicative of a difference in elevation on either side of the line. A sloping surface, however, has contours. The steeper the slope, the more closely the contours are spaced. A vertical cliff has the contours superimposed. Superimposed means overtapping. Let's understand in common language. The method of showing the relief with the help of contours is one of the most accurate and standard methods. Contours is an imaginary line which joins the points or places having the same heights above the mean sea level. In other words, a contours is a line of constant height above the mean sea level. The contours are drawn on the basis of actual surveys done in the field. The surface of the earth is not uniform. It has mountains, hills, plateaus, valleys, waterfalls, seas, lakes, etc. These are the features representing the elevation and depression on the earth's surface. These are technically known as the relief of the earth. There are some characteristics of contour lines. The contour lines can never cross each other. When two contour lines having different heights meet, it means that the slope is vertical, like a cliff or a waterfall. The widely spaced contours shows gentle slope. The closely placed contours shows steep slope. The closely placed contours in the high elevation and the widely spaced contours in the lower elevation show concave slope. The widely spaced contours in the higher elevation and the closely placed contours in the lower elevation shows convex slopes. Come back to the reading again. Topographical maps on large and medium scale shows natural and artificial ground features, relief and other information. They comprise the basic primary map cover of any country. These maps are actually the responsibility of National Survey Department. Topographical maps on a specified scale with a uniform style are called map series. Normally, map series on more than one scale are prepared. For India, we have three series of topo maps, that is 1:25,000, 1:50,000 and 1:250,000 series. Let's understand through map. Topographical maps on a specified scale with a uniform style are called map series. Normally, map series on more than one scale are prepared. For India, we have three series of topo maps, that is 1:25,000, 1:50,000 and 1:250,000 series. The detail is given as follow. Open series map have been introduced as per the National Map Policy of 2005 by Survey of India. For the same, a new map numbering system has been adopted instead of the previous India and adjacent countries. The map series is based on transverse Mercator projection on WGS 1984 datum. Datum means sea level. The numbering system based on International Map of the World IMW is used. The IMW numbering system with minor modification is used up to 1 degree multiply 1 degree by 1 ratio 250,000 scale. Since the IMW map number for India will always start with N, India being in the northern hemisphere, the first letter is omitted. The next alphabet and number of the IMW map number denotes the 6 degree multiply 4 degree region of the IMW series. So, sheet with Kalyanpur would be in G43. Open series map OSM map numbering 6 degree into 4 degree index. Each 6 degree by 4 degree rectangle is further subdivided into 24 squares of 1 degree by 1 degree. Each square is indicated serially by an alphabet increasing first towards east and then towards south, starting with A. So, sheet for Kalyanpur falls within G43X. Open series map OSM map numbering 1 degree by 1 degree index of 6 degree by 4 degree, that is G43. Each 1 degree into 1 degree square is further divided into 16 squares of 15 minutes multiply 15 minutes. Each square is indicated serially by a number increasing first towards south and then towards east, starting with 1. Similarly to the system adopted in India and adjacent countries. So far, the map sheet for Kalyanpur would be G43X12. Now question arise, what do you mean by G43X12? So students, G43 represents states including parts of Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh and some parts of Uttar Pradesh, whereas alphabet X represents Kalyanpur. Kalyanpur is a place in Uttar Pradesh and number 12 represents the pinpoint location of Kalyanpur. So students, G43 represents the state, X represents the district and number 12 represents the pinpoint area of that district. For example, G43 suppose we denote as a Punjab. Alphabet X denotes Amritsar and number 12 denotes a particular area in Amritsar. It may be Lawrence Road, Ranjit Avenue, Loharka Road, etc. Come back to the reading again. Open page number 12. The maps of ICSE series extend up to the contiguous lands of Afghanistan, Tibet and China. These sheets are 4 degrees of longitudes in size and cover the entire country. The sheets are numbered from 39 to 84. They are named after the most important town of the area covered by the sheet. Thus, sheet number 43 is named as Srinagar sheet and sheet number 53 is named as Delhi sheet. These sheets are known as 1 million sheets. The 1 million sheet is further subdivided into 16 equal parts of 1 latitude into 1 longitude in extent. The 1 degree sheets are on 4 miles to 1 inch scale. Its metric is equivalent to 1 ratio to 50,000 scale. These sheets are also known as degree sheets as they cover 1 degree extent in latitude and longitude. These sheets are numbered from A to P and thus from 1 million sheet number 45. The 16 component sheets are 45A, 45B, 45O and 45P. In earlier days, the inaccessible and underdeveloped areas were surveyed on 2 miles to 1 inch or 1 by 2 inch scale. There were 4 1 by 2 inch sheets in a degree sheet, which were numbered as 45A Northwest, 45A Northeast, 45A Southeast and 45A southwest. These maps were 30 minutes of latitude and longitude in extent. No maps were surveyed on this scale after 1958. The degree sheets are again subdivided into 16 equal parts, each of 15 minutes, of latitude and longitude in extent. These sheets are numbered from 1 to 16, example 45D1 to 45D16. These sheets are on 1 inch to 1 mile scale and are known as 1 inch maps. 1 inch scale has been replaced by 1:50,000 scale maps since 1958. Come to the next page, page number 16. The Survey of India topo maps are printed in both colored and uncolored editions. In colored edition, the following 7 colors are used. Hills are shown as brown contours, barren land are shown in white, watercourses are shown in blue, forests are shown in green, cultivated areas are shown in yellow, railways, dry streams, other labeling, etc. are shown in black, roads, towns, villages are shown in red color. So students, with that we have completed our today's topic. Hope you understand well. Now this is a time to ask some questions related to what we have done just now. This is a homework for you also. Number 1 question is define the term topographical maps. Second, what do you mean by contours? Third, name the different types of slopes. Fourth, who introduced topographical maps in India? And fifth, what do you know about the degree sheets? So students, this is your homework. You have to solve this and solve the related back exercise also. Hope you understand well the full topic. We will meet very soon. In my next lecture, I am going to introduce some more new things related to topographical maps. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you.